rather not be here today than have this press conference. We would rather not be here today having this memorial service and ceremony and anniversary if the police force was properly trained, if there was proper protocol, and we would rather that be in place than have here and talk about someone's life that was taken way, way too soon. The family is here today trying to recapture their life with their son, trying to ensure that their son's life, Ramarley's life, does not go in vain. The civil settlement is only one facet of bringing some type of closure to this tragic incident that should not have occurred. And by the push of this family and other families to have the Department of Justice actually present the case to the grand jury, indict, and hopefully have a conviction, then there'll be some legs, there'll be some teeth, there'll be some awareness as to reforming how police do their job. And not only are we speaking to the main actor, which most of us have been very familiar with, Richard Hayes, is those that are also in charge. The sergeant, the lieutenant, the police officer decided to knock down the door. Other officers who decided not to intervene. Officers who may have given false information. Officers at the end of the day decided to put out a story and run to the media or run to their commanding officers and superiors and put out a story that is no way true. And fortunately for the videotape of this incident, we know it's not true. So there is no chip that is too small, and there is no chip that is too big in the protocol of accountability to ensure that this doesn't happen again.
I just would like to add that we also thank the public's support. Throughout this process, the family has leaned on the public, and the public has given love and support to the family. And the family has been remarkably patient, dignified, carried themselves with grace while waiting 3 years for justice. Today marks the 3-year anniversary of their young son's passing. And we are praying and hoping that the Department of Justice answers their questions. Who was the officer who claims that he saw Ramarley Graham with a gun in his waistband that we knew he didn't have? Who was the officer who claimed that Ramarley Graham was running inside his home, which a videotape shows was not the case? Who was the officer who claimed that he got permission to enter the back door when we know it was at gunpoint pointed to an 8-year-old young man in the first floor apartment? And why did the officers, not one officer, intercede and stop this tragedy from occurring? This could have been stopped many times at many levels. The family wants and deserves answers. And again, this is just one chapter of the story. The remaining story remains to be written, and justice remains to be served. Thank you all for coming.
May I ask Mr. Frank, I know we spoke with Ms. Constance a lot in the past 2 days. Does this settlement give you any hope that the Department of Justice, sees, at least someone is listening, at least someone is saying, yes, something was wrong here?
Well, I hope that the Justice Department does look at it and say, well, something is there, something was wrong. Am I confident that that will happen? I'm not, but I'm open. Because when you stop hoping, that means you give everything up. And we could never stop fighting for our son. I mean, the settlement is one part of it, but as we said from day one, it was never fighting about money. We would give everything back to have Ramarley here with us. You understand? It is about justice. And what is justice for me? All officers in that team held accountable for their action, for their lies, for disregard of the law, for disregard of human rights. We want justice in that frame, and we will be calling on the DOJ. We will make all attempt to have more meetings and make sure we get that justice. Ramarley deserves it. The community deserves it. The city deserves it. The nation deserves it. People is watching. This is an 18-year-old unarmed young man murdered in his house in front of his grandmother and his 6-year-old brother. Where is the justice? As the T-shirt said, where is my justice?
One of the things for sure is that now that the civil matter has been resolved, there is no obstacle to prevent the Department of Justice from moving forward. There's always this air of the civil matter being open that the family of Ramarley puts themselves in a very precarious position because they may have to testify and give statements and give accounts of what happened or what they know to have happened, or other witnesses have to testify. And so that's always been somewhat of a shield from which the Department of Justice was able to lean on to say that we have to move cautiously. Well, that shield is no longer there. Now the door is wide open. Now they don't have to worry about any contradictions, although we know that there is no contradiction in reference to what took place, and they should be able to move ahead with their investigation, no holds barred. And that's what we hope. But we also know that history has shown us that without organizations, social organizations, activism within the community, that they will not move. And so we need to stay vigilant and stay in contact with all the groups that have supported us, all the organizations that have supported the family, all the political leadership that are present here today and who are not here today, to ensure that there's a better future for not only African American and children of color here in New York, but throughout the United States, because what has happened here is just a micro versus a macro of what is going on in other places, whether it's Ferguson, whether it is Ohio, whether it is Bronx, whether it is Staten Island. We know that this is a constant, and unless some change starts from criminal justice perspective, nothing will happen.
I just want to thank the parents and the families for their patience. Trying time as a father, I know it's difficult to look at that picture, see another little brother just remind you of him. But the city stepped up and took care of one part. Will it heal all these wounds? No. Every February we'll be having these memories. The good thing about it is that the memories get better. We start reflecting on the life of Ramarley and not the crisis so much in America. But I will say that the injustice that still exists in America is not going to go away because there was a settlement that was paid out. We have a responsibility as activists, we have a responsibility as parents, we have a responsibility as legislators to make sure that we put legislation that changes how people operate when they interact with communities of color. We in the council, we have a number of reforms that we've been talking about, and God rest the two officers that lives were taken away by someone who was sick. But I don't want anyone to ever get confused that we've gotten to this place because of all the injustices, all of the violations, all of the discrimination, all the prejudiced behavior of law enforcement to communities of color across American history. That's why we're here today. That's how we got to this place. And if we can get to everybody wants a kumbaya moment, but you know what? Those who perpetrate crime on communities of color must be held accountable. Once we start holding individuals who hurt individuals and hold them accountable to their own laws, then the trust gets built. And then we can really start healing. Signing a check doesn't help you heal. When people are held accountable for their misdeeds, that's when the healing process starts. And to you, to Constance, to Frank, to the attorneys, Sister Tamika, and everybody, I want to say God is watching all of us, and He's going to make sure we stay united on behalf of Ramarley and all the Ramarleys. Thank you.
Again, my name is Constance, and I'm from Ramarley, Ryan. You know, yes, we did a settlement, but a settlement would never take away the lifetime pain that this city caused me. What would take away the pain? It wouldn't take away the pain, but it cushion us to see Richard Hayes get fired, Commissioner Bradley asked him to get fired, and the other officer that was involved in the shooting, and let the Department of Justice come in and prosecute him to the fullest for the crime that they committed. That would kind of ease my pain. It won't take it away, but to see held accountable, that would be a start, but just not me, the community, and people that know they have a chance that when this happens again, there are justice, to be served.
Just to say what Constance just said, there are many officers that was involved, and we're asking the commissioner to fire each and every one of them. That would start healing. I think it will go a long way in this city when people see we have a commissioner who is a no-nonsense commissioner and fire them, every last one of them. Now, the names of them, I'll ask my attorney because I want these names to be known. So I'll ask my attorney, Mr. Gilliam, to repeat these names. But we're asking the commissioner, please, fire these people, get them out of the city. We don't need these people working for us. They're dangerous. They should not be collecting taxpayers' dollars.